Look, I'm going to tell you something that's going to sound pretty weird at first, but learning sales and becoming an expert closer made me way more attractive to women than going to the gym for 10 years ever did. And that's not like any manipulative bullshit, it's just the genuine traits that women find attractive that sales naturally gives you. A lot of guys think attraction is about what you're wearing, how big your muscles are, in some cases how rich you are. So they go out, they buy loads of nice clothes, they pump loads of iron, some of them get rich, and then as soon as they open their mouth, women run in the opposite direction. And that's not because you don't have all the material stuff, because you do. You tick all the boxes. But if you've never actually learned how to speak to someone, then none of it really matters. Some guys just talk at women and almost pitch themselves like they're a product, telling them how great they are, how rich they are, whatever. And others feel like they're interviewing women and they just ask women question after question after question and never actually build that genuine rapport. How many times have you seen a 10 out of 10 woman walk past you and she's with a guy and you think, how the hell has he got her? And it keeps you up at night. You're thinking, how has that happened? And maybe you find out he's not rich, he's not famous, he's not got any of the things that you might think women go for, but he's landed her. And why is that? It's likely because he knows how to communicate well. You see it all the time. I've seen friends do it, I've done it myself. You go up to a girl in a nightclub and you start asking, where are you from? What do you do for work? The standard, boring questions. There's no chemistry, there's no playfulness, there's no genuine connection happening here. Or even worse, there's a guy who's watched a couple of YouTube videos, he's in the gym, he's peacocking, he's trying to be this alpha Chad guy, and that's even worse. It just smells desperate and calculated, and women can smell it a mile off. And here's what I've learned after almost 10 years in sales. The best sales guys are not these alpha dickheads. They are often introverts, they're often intelligent, but most importantly, they're actually genuinely curious about people and they're invested into conversations. They're the people that get results in sales. And that translates perfectly into the dating world as well. If you're genuinely curious and you actually care about the person in front of you and you're communicating in that affect, guess what's going to happen? The woman is going to feel like you're genuinely interested, you're confident, but you're not arrogant. You are genuinely listening to her. These are all massive ticks when it comes to the dating world. And real sales training teaches you all of this, not in some calculated way where you're pretending, but it actually becomes you. It actually becomes part of who you are. So I'm going to detail the exact skills that sales teaches you that translate perfectly to dating. So if you can become an expert in these certain areas of sales, not only will it massively benefit your career, but it's going to benefit your dating life as well. So I'm going to go into detail about the exact skills that translate to the dating world, but most importantly, the big overarching thing that happens here, aside from usually getting wealthier, if you're going to get better at sales, you're going to get better at communicating, better at asking questions, better at building rapport, all of these things. But ultimately, there's one thing that all these smaller skills feed into that is the number one thing that women find attractive, and that's confidence. As you get better at all of these smaller things, and you're raising your status, you're becoming an authority figure, you're asking Socratic questioning, you're wealthier, you're just genuinely doing better at life, you're going to become more confident. And that's the most attractive thing after all. So I'm going to go through now the individual skills that becoming an expert salesperson is going to really help you when it comes to the dating world. The first skill is being genuinely curious. First, sales teaches you to be genuinely curious, not be like an interviewer curious, just asking a set list of questions. Be genuinely curious about someone, where they're at, how you can help them, how you can get them to where they want to go, how to overcome any barriers that are in the way. This really teaches you this natural curiosity, not just saying what's your favorite color. It's more being genuinely invested and interested and letting the conversation flow naturally. A really bad example of this, what translates to the dating world and the sales world, is a question like, what do you do for work? It's flat, it's dead. You're going to get a closed answer. So the conversation will either stop there, You might have to talk about yourself instead, or you might have to ask just a completely separate question. But now imagine, on the other hand, you walk past someone that you like, you see they've got maybe a water bottle with a gym that they go to on it. And you say, oh, how long have you been going to that gym for? This invites her to speak about something that she's obviously interested in. It's an open question, and it's going to invite a more powerful dialogue between the two of you, rather than just asking these like surface level questions. But here's where the sales training goes even deeper. In my mentorship, I teach something called the staircase method, which is essentially layered questioning, which in sales is great for digging deeper into someone's problems, what's holding them back, or digging into their desired outcome as well. So this is a way how we can layer questions to keep the conversation flowing, and it'll mean that our conversations carry more impact because we'll go in layers deeper all the time. And quite simply, there's 4 layers. So it's what-based questions are usually where you find the specifics around what the prospect has said. Why-based questions, they usually start with the word why, and that invites the prospect to tell you basically why they feel a certain way or why they want a certain thing. Then there's how. How is usually how we quantify things, so like how long have you wanted this for, or how long have you been in this situation for. And then the final layer is impact or emotion, and this is where we tend to get the emotional impact behind that certain surface level problem or desire. So let me give you an example of this in action, using our example from earlier where the lady walks past and she's got a gym water bottle. We might say, what gym are you training at? Why did you choose that one? How long have you been training there for? And do you like it? Why do you like it? See how each question sort of builds on the last. You're not interviewing her, you're just letting the question flow naturally, but from something very small. And all of a sudden you've had an in-depth conversation from something as small as a flipping water bottle. And by the final layer, she's telling you why she likes certain things. This is going to make her feel happy. And by the final question, asking if she likes it and why she likes it, we're now connecting on a personal level, and you're starting to understand why she likes certain things. Women, us as men, can figure out when people are genuinely interested or just running through like a set layer of questions, like what do you do, how long you been here for. It's boring and there's no chemistry attached to it. But if you learn to have conversations like this where you can dig deeper and be interested, then it's going to serve you so well in the dating market, and it's going to keep conversation flowing, keep people happy, and get rid of any of those awkward silences. The second thing that sales teaches you that is perfectly translatable to the dating world is being a good listener. Now, most people are absolutely terrible listeners. They just wait for their time to talk. How many times have you heard girls, women say, oh, he actually listens to what I'm saying, he actually cares about it. Most guys out there are just nodding as a woman's speaking, waiting for their time to jump in and pitch, essentially, and try to impress the woman with a fact about them, some attribute about them, and just talk about themselves. In sales, you get very comfortable with silence and allowing someone to finish whatever they're saying, taking a pause and saying, tell me a bit more about that. Or why is that? Or could you elaborate on that? These phrases do something really powerful in sales conversations. They allow you to go deeper into a person's wants, desires, problems, but in the dating world, it shows you're genuinely interested. And often what guys will do is a girl will say something like, yeah, work's been crazy at the minute. And the guy will jump in and go, oh, work? Yeah, my work's been crazy as well. I've been doing this project and blah, 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 blah. But a good listener hears the word crazy and says, crazy how? In what way has it been crazy? Like crazy good or crazy bad? Now you're having a real conversation with how she's feeling, what's interesting her, not just basically swapping LinkedIn information. And here's what happens when you're a great listener. Women open up, they feel safe in your company. We all know what happens when women feel safe in your company. That is the foundation of attraction that usually lasts. And the third is being an authority figure without being a massive dickhead. This is something that sales teaches you. We've all seen the sales chads, the guys who weekend millionaires, recruitment consultants, hyped up on Adderall or some other substance usually, and they're arrogant and they're rude. And that, again, is the same as the dating world. We know those guys, right? But a good salesperson, when they talk, they're not trying to convince you to buy. They're almost qualifying you, making sure they can actually help you. And they're acting as a consultant that's ultimately going to try to help you get the result that you want. What most guys get wrong about being like alpha is that it's all about flexing, about like showing how much money you've got or how big you are, how hard you are, whatever. But what it ultimately means is that you are extremely comfortable in your own skin and you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. One of my favourite segments from a podcast with Alex Hormozi and his wife Layla. And Alex Hormozi, like, obviously dresses pretty objectively quite bad. He wears like Crocs all the time with big socks, a vest, and like a cap that says school on it. Objectively, he dresses pretty bad. And someone asked her when they were together, do you wish that Alex dressed nicer? And she said, if he dressed nicer because he thought that I would find that more attractive, I would find that less attractive than him just being authentically him and wearing the things that he wants. That's real authority, and it's the same in sales. If you're presenting yourself as someone who has something to prove about your product or your service, and you're constantly pitching and telling them about all the features instead of just being calm, confident, listening, trying to do your best by the client, but not pushy, that's when you come across a true authority figure. And it's the same in sales. To be an authority figure in sales, you can't be pushing your product at every opportunity. You've got to be genuinely curious about someone, how you present yourself, how you communicate. You've got to be certain in the way that you communicate. You've got to be calm. And that translates to dating. Being with someone who knows where they're going, isn't afraid to lead, is an extremely attractive trait. And the fourth and final point, and potentially one of the most important for lasting relationships, is persuasion without manipulation. In sales, you'll learn that you can't actually make anyone do anything. And if you do, people are going to just cancel the card that they paid with, ask for a refund. Ultimately, all you can do is show them things that are actually true or potentially offer a different perspective. That's influence, that's real persuasion, and that skill is gold when it comes to relationships. Because you're not arguing every time that you disagree. You're not getting defensive, you're not feeling like you're being attacked just because someone has a slightly different opinion. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're in a relationship and your partner wants to move to a new city for work. And you're not sure. Most guys are going to either just agree to avoid conflict or argue that it's a really bad idea. Neither of those things are particularly good, but with sales training, you're probably going to do something a little bit more like this. Walk me through what's exciting about this for you. That's going to get genuine curiosity. It's going to show that you care. You'd say, what would that change about your current career? That'll allow you to understand her perspective. And then you might say, have you given it any thought as to what we both might have to change in order to make this work? You offering a different perspective here. And then if you had something to offer, you could say, let me share my perspective and let me see if we can figure something out. You're not rolling over, you're not fighting, you're just having a strong adult conversation where you can offer your perspective in a non-dickhead manner. Most relationships fail because people can't communicate through conflict, and conflict does happen. So they either avoid it and that causes resentment, or they fight and they say things that they can't take back. And these are really common reasons why relationships fail. Sales gives you the framework to navigate any potential disagreements, but with a framework. Yeah, and let's address the elephant in the room. If you become an elite level closer, guess what's going to change? Your bank balance. Because businesses will always need great salespeople. So you could be earning 10, 20k a month from anywhere in the world. You will have true location and financial freedom. I've trained over 100 people to do this. I've done it myself. Some had sales experience already, some had no experience whatsoever, but within months, most of them are pulling in 5k a month, some 10k a month. Within 12 months, pretty much everyone's hitting the 10k a month mark. Look, money doesn't always necessarily buy attraction. If it does, probably someone you want to avoid, because there's always going to be someone richer. But financial freedom gives you options. It means you can travel. It means you can take people out without looking at the bill. You don't have to go to KFC on dates or the cinema and not buy any popcorn and buy it from Asda instead. Like, you have options, and that's fun, and that keeps things fresh and alive. You're not just a broke guy who's really good at communicating. You're someone who can actually provide a really good life. And here's the part that no one really talks about. When you have that level of financial freedom and location freedom, guess what? You're not going to be desperate. You're not stuck in your hometown where there's just one girl that you liked in school and you're that desperate, clingy guy. If you can go to Thailand next week, go to Ibiza, you aren't going to be as attached to the one opportunity that you have currently, because you have options. And that's positive, because it means that when you do find someone that you like, you're actually choosing to be with them, not just afraid that you'll never get anyone better. And that changes everything when it comes down to a relationship, because they know that you've chosen them and they've chosen you, not by obligation, but by choice. Here's what a lot of people get wrong, especially beginners. They think sales teaches you to be manipulative, and it doesn't. Real sales teaches you to ask better questions, to listen better, to try to help people more, to influence without being pushy, and to handle objections in a way that doesn't leave everyone just more angry than when they jumped on the call. These aren't manipulation tactics, these are life skills. They'll make you better with women, they'll make you better with friends, they'll make you better with parents. They literally cover all bases. In my opinion, it's the number one skill that everybody should learn. The gym will make you look better, of course, and that is really important. But sales skills will make you communicate better, talk better, and earn more money. That's not something you can fake. Either you develop these skills or you don't. There's no middle ground. So yeah, learn sales, not to trick women or to manipulate, but to be a person that's actually worth being around and speaking to. Someone who's genuinely curious about others, someone who actually listens, someone who can lead without being controlling and manipulative, and someone who's sorted their shit out financially. The gym will make you look better. Learning sales will make you be better. And that's the difference between getting attention and keeping it. Ciao.